Hello and welcome. I wanted to give you an overview of a program that I created, and I've been using for a while. It is called Unified AI Chat, and what it does is it created. I needed a unified workspace to keep all my chats with AI, which was model agnostic. I didn't have to go into each one of the vendors that are out there: OpenAI, Claude. Perplexity, whatever it is, Mistral. I also wanted to be able to support local models on my local AI models that I have in here. I wanted the chat to be able to have a persistent context when I switch from one model to the other, and that was an important piece because I use certain models for basic information. But when I want to expand on that information, I want to be able to take that context and take it to the next model. And then, of course, trying to figure out what is the cost of all of these models and be able to manage all. The application is on GitHub, but you can try the app by clicking here and going to the application and register. Let me show you what I have so far. Okay, so let's start. Let me give you, so first of all, it's a standard chatbot, and you are able to go ahead and type an information. You can choose which model do you want to use. You can use Kimi, you can use any ones of the ones that you have defined. You are able to, this particular topic or this particular button allows you to go ahead and just chat with the LLM at hand, so it doesn't use any of the web tools that it has defined as part of it. And then you can give it system instructions. For example, if you want to, you can create the Blogger system instructions, or you can create something like, for example, let's do can you talk like Aussie surfer, please respond as an Aussie, and I'm going to save these as Aussie. So if I ask him a question, hello, how are you today? It should respond as an Aussie surfer. Good day, mate. As you can see, it did it perfectly. Now, if I can switch back to a simple assistant, let me just go ahead and type the simple assistant, and you get the. And let's ask him again. What day is today? And where can we go for? Now, it may not know where you are because you haven't set it up yet, but let's find out, and I'll show you how to set it up. Today is June May 18th. You can go to launch. You want me to do, again, that is Gemini Flash Simple Assistant. It tells you what is happening here and where you are, who are you communicating with at the moment. If you want to switch to, like, for example, GPT, I think I want Chinese, any good places. So it may not know where you are, but it'll answer not with Gemini, but with Chinese, with GPT 4.0. And if you're in the Missouri area, a great Chinese place, and again, you are using, now it noticed that it used Perplexity as the web search tool. So it, in combination of the ChatGPT with Perplexity, and I can define that at any time. So let's create a new thread and let's ask it something. Hey, can you tell me about, and let's use a different one right now. Let's use about the the Maya civilization. So let's see what it responds. And again, I'm using Kimi, the moonshot, which is not a great one, but it's a fairly good one, and it has a lot of information from the search. It is thinking a little bit. Okay. So it took a few seconds to create, but it gave me a pretty good Maya overview. And you will notice that it used the information in the model. It didn't have to go outside the model to search for web tools or anything else. They lived in Mexico. So let's switch again models and see where we can go from here. The Quen 3.5. Can you tell me a story about the Maya? And you've used a context of so far 2,500 out of 128. If you notice here, each one of these has a different model for sure. So this one used also direct Qwen 3.1, and it wrote a story about the hero twins and Popol Vuh, sorry if I'm underworld known as Syllaba. Okay, so let's look at what else can I do with this. Can you generate an image of that, for that story? I'm gonna go in this path. It's gonna wait a couple seconds, and what it's doing here is because I'm asking it to go and look at generate an image, it's going to use the tool set that it has and generate the image that it needs. So there you go, that's the image of it. So let's see, what other things can you do with, and again, I'm just using different personalities, different model. It use the Gemini 3.1 flash image. The next thing is I can see the entire context of the conversation from the first conversation to the last conversation, and what are the different models that I use for each one. That's an important piece, because this is how the communication happens between you and you send them a message, and then the with a role and a couple of other meta messages, and then it responds back to you, and that's how you capture that information. So the entire message history is stored there. The other thing that it does is if I wanted, which is one of the things I wanted, this entire conversation is costing me 0.06 cents so far, 0.5 cents. And I've spent 0.00000 on Kimi. On Qwen, I've spent also $0. I've spent Flash is $0 in the router, which is the I set up as GPT-4o right now. It is costing me 0.008 cents, and then the Gemini generates 6 cents for a total of 6 cents for the entire section. So again, you can take a look at each one of these things and be able to come up with how much did this particular session cost you at any one time. The other thing that I wanted to see, if I wanted to go ahead and click on this one, you can go into any past history and pick up where you left from there. And on this particular topic, which I believe it was about, LLMs, LLM multi-providers, I can click in here, and this session cost me so far once for a blog post that a while back. So again, you can go into any one of those conversations and be able to figure out or pick up and figure out where you want to. The other thing here is that if you had 50, 60, 100 conversations, you are going to be able to click here and on the dollar sign on the very top, and this is the total cost of the entire session histories, all the sessions, all the conversations that I've ever had. So far, I've spent 14 cents on these. And again, this is depending on the models that you use, depending on what you're for. The next thing is you can archive any of these. For example, I can go ahead and edit this title. Help me design a perfect daily routine. That was the title. I can change that, or I can archive it from that perspective. I can do that, or I can delete it as well if I. You can go into light mode or dark mode, of course, whatever you prefer to do. And the interesting thing is I generate lots of images from time to time, depending on where I'm going, or what I'm using it for. Maybe for the background of a blog post, or an image for the story, or something like that. So when I click in here, I was working on an Inca story, so I can go in and see all of the images that I have ever created with Open. So again, you can view it, you can download it, you can delete it if you need to, but again, that is where what you can do from that perspective. Let me show you next is the setup. The setup is the model. The models are able to, you can add any models. Let's just add another one here. And the providers that you can use, OpenRouter is a very good provider that has access to hundreds of models, both in the frontier side and in the open source side. They basically host them and serve them, or they're a distributor. I don't know if they host them, but definitely they're a distributor. And you can buy tokens. As you can see, $5 will go a long way based on the cost that I shared with you. You can also set different tools like Olama, FastFlow, LM Studio, or you can have other providers that use an OpenAI compatible device. And so let's see what it shows, open browser comparable. So these are, like, for example, Anthropic. I am able to use Fable. It's disabled right now, but in the Fable latest, if I were, but the interesting thing is this is what it shows you that it costs: $10 for input and $50 for output. So you can definitely choose which ones you want based on cost and what is it gonna do for you. So let's look at Amazon Lite, Amazon Nova 2 Lite. I have never used that one. Sorry, Amazon. But the cost, did you see the cost? It was super inexpensive on Nova. Amazon Nova 2 Lite is 0.30 cents per million tokens and $2.50 per million tokens coming out. So we can use that as the as a new model. I'm going to add it here, and then it's going to add it to the very bottom of the screen. And you are going to be able to then just make sure that it works. Check if it has the check. Then you save the setting, and then you're going to be able to in the chat, let's see if the chat allows you to use the Nova. Yep, right there. Hello, great. Mistyped that. Great. Very bad spelling, by the way. And Nova 2, yeah, you're absolutely, looks like you're saying hello time to it. Recognizes that it's Thursday. It's 9:01 p.m. UTC. And that is what it's telling you. And you can ask it, what is the Aztec civilization? Again, we're just trying the system, giving you some ideas as to how you can use it, where you can use it. And very good. And again, it used the direct Nova Lite. And let's see how much did it cost me. For the Nova Lite 2.0, it was 0.02 cents, and for a total of 3.24. So you can generate an image, but we're not going to. So let's go ahead and continue the setup. You can set up the providers, as I mentioned, LLM Studio, Olama, an OpenAI compatible FastFlow, which is a local AI, LLM that I have here. You can change the theme color. You can set up the system prompt, which is a prompt that is attached to every single conversation that you have in here. And that is where what is useful. The utility elements, remember I was checking to see which ones do you use. For the router, it's using Flash Lite LLM, and for the image generation, it's using Flash Image Generation. You can back up and restore the data. And you can run some quick automated testing as well, which we're not going to do quite right now, and test the email if you send yourself some sort of. So that's it. That is what I wanted to show you. And hopefully you've enjoyed this presentation. Hopefully you will give it a try. Go into 35 sites, which directly into the webpage, that unified chat. And you can log out, and that's it. Thank you very much.